Wonderful, terrific support in the stadium for Albania. They've come from all parts of Europe to watch their nation in action for a very first time in such an historic setting as a European Championship finals tournament. The two teams now going through the handshakes and the high fives. Yes, we'll be back with you for that, of course, Pat. Well, in 5 days' time, this stadium in Lons will be staging the little matter of England against Wales. But right now, as we've said, it's the venue for a piece of football history for Albania, and they're making or aiming to make quite an imprint on a major championship finals for the first time ever. They are the lowest ranked team, as Kelly's been saying, but they say they're not here to make up the numbers, but they are certainly one of the surprise qualifiers, one of the beneficiaries of the tournament expansion to 24 teams. They're the third smallest country at Euro 2016 behind Iceland and Northern Ireland, but we can see, certainly Trevor, that they have great support in the stadium in northern France.
Wow, what an atmosphere. I think you can see red everywhere. Obviously Switzerland playing red as well, but I think all the fans, or majority of the fans are Albanian. Superb atmosphere, and emotions are going to be high because obviously there's so many links between both these countries, and obviously they've got bloodlines in both teams as well, in the brothers, Shaka. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do against each other too.
Yes, for the first time in European history, we have in the Euro finals two brothers face to face on opposing teams. We've had brothers in the same team, of course, Phil and Gary Neville, to mention just one pair, but here Talan Xhaka of Basel playing for Albania, and Granit Xhaka, his younger brother, who's on his way to Arsenal for next season. He's in the midfield for Switzerland. Both were born in Switzerland of ethnic Albanian parents. So it is Albania who are playing in their regular first choice colours of the red shirts and the black shorts, and they get us underway in this match in Lons, and Switzerland are all in white. I'll run through the lineups for you in a couple of moments. Certainly a couple of Premier League players in the Swiss team and others who've appeared in the Premier League in the past, including Johan Djuru at the back for the Swiss. The Swiss with one of the youngest squads in the tournament, but packed with experience as well, and led these days by Stefan Lichtsteiner, the Juventus right back. He's their captain, and he's got early possession of the ball on the far side, with Switzerland playing from right to left in the first of the live matches on 5 Live on the second day of Euro 2016. Coming up later from Bordeaux, Wales against Slovakia, then at 8 o'clock from Marseille, England against Russia. It's going to be quite a day. Here's Djuru to Rodriguez on the halfway line for Switzerland. Long ball forward, half headed away by Albania, but the Swiss win it back with Shaqiri. He doesn't make too much ground, and the ball is back again with Djuru on the halfway line. Albania are expected to dig in and be craggy defensively, but we thought that yesterday of Romania, and they did indeed take the game to the French in the first match in Group A. This is the second match in Group A. It was a good result for both these teams yesterday, with Romania being beaten and Switzerland, through Jamali, have forced an early corner, Trevor.
Yeah, great start from Switzerland, good possession, going through the back line into the midfield. Shaqiri got hold of the possession, come inside, and then they forced away into the box corner. Good early start, bright on the ball. Everyone looks like they want the ball.
So early corner for Switzerland to be taken by Rodriguez, the Wolfsburg left back. Always the left back, it seems, for Switzerland. It's an outswinger headed away though by Albania. It drops to Lichtsteiner halfway inside the Albanian half. It's the Alps against the Balkans. 500 miles between the two countries, of course, but indelibly linked. Plenty of ethnic Albanians have settled in Switzerland, mainly from Kosovo, and some of them playing for the Swiss today, including Shaqiri. And by the same token, Albania include players born in Switzerland, and indeed players who have represented Switzerland at anything up to under 21 level. 7 of the Albanian squad have played for Switzerland in the younger age groups.
Yeah, I think it's no different in the rivalry to the home nations, except they've got quite a lot of land between the two countries. But like you say, there's going to be a lot of rivalry between the sides, as you can see from that challenge. Very full-blooded challenge. Nothing wrong with it, a little bit two-footed, but he's definitely let himself be known there.
Well, that was Granit Xhaka, the new Arsenal player. He's known for adding a bit of ballast, shall we say, in the midfield, and he went into a very strong challenge there, but he won the ball fairly. He actually was sent off 3 times in the Bundesliga last season, playing for Borussia Mönchengladbach, So he's in there to add some steel into the Arsenal midfield, which some people will say they certainly need. And he's up against his brother, who was sent off twice in the Swiss League, playing for Basel last season, so that could be very combative.
There might have an anger problem in that family. We'll have to wait and see what happens in this game, but could get a little bit feisty as the game goes on, and especially with the warm conditions, people get irritable, and we'll see what happens.
But it is quite steamy and muggy in Lens. A cloudy afternoon as Switzerland strike a long ball down the near side to Rodriguez, the full-back, who's beyond his man into the penalty area, plays it in low towards the near post. It's blocked. He comes back to Rodriguez, now towards the edge of the penalty area. It's laid back to Granit Xhaka. His shot is blocked there by Legnani for Albania, and it spins out to the far side towards the corner flag, beyond the corner flag, and it's going to be another corner for the Swiss, this time over on the far side. Switzerland all in white, and Albania in the red shirts with the black shorts and the red socks. The true colours for Albania, and they deserve it after all of the turbulence that they've been through. What scenes of triumph in Tirana when they qualified with their final victory over Armenia, but here they have to defend another early corner. 4 minutes played, in it comes, headed goalwards and headed into the net, and there's an early goal scored by Cher. Fabian Cher, the centre-back, scores. The goalkeeper committed himself off the line, and Switzerland strike early in Lens. The goalkeeper, Berisha, was nowhere, and there we have a goal scored by the Hoffenheim defender. It's Albania 0, Switzerland 1, and that's an awful start for Albania in their proudest of days.
Yeah, Berisha, he's let his teammates down there a little bit. He's committed, and he's got caught in no man's land. For a goalkeeper, you've got to come out and reach that at his highest level, and he's nowhere near it. He don't get near enough, and he's flapping at wind. What a finish. Great header, brave. He could have got a punch in the face, finished it well.
Yeah, Fabian Cher it was. There was criticism yesterday, wasn't there, of the Romanian goalkeeper over the Giroud goal, but this here was worse than that.
Yeah, I think if he stays on his line, it's a comfortable save. He'll take that into his mid-drift and just take it cleanly. Easy save, but because he's committed himself, I think he's left himself standing, and like we say, no man's land, no place for a goalkeeper to be.
Well, Albania not known for their goal scoring, only 7 legitimate goals they scored in their qualifying campaign, and they need to strike back here against the Swiss, who've been gifted the softest of opening goals in this second match at Euro 2016, and it's going to be a free kick for Switzerland at the back after a foul by Legnani. And after all of the build-up, all the hype which has been going on for months and months surrounding Albania, that is the worst possible start for them. Cher with his 6th goal for Switzerland, and a simple header really. Once he'd won the ball in the air, with the goalkeeper nowhere, it dropped into the unguarded net from the corner. And now Sommer, the Swiss goalkeeper, clears up over the halfway line. Down the far touchline, Legnani's there for Albania, turns it forward looking for a little bit of support, and then it's in midfield with Kukeli, and now in possession it's Sadiku, a slight surprise selection up front for Albania. They normally go for Sikaleshi as their lone striker, who holds the ball up better, but Sadiku's been scoring goals recently, 3 in the warm-up matches, so maybe it's a selection which will pay off, because they need a goal at some stage this afternoon. The ball is headed away by the Swiss, and there's high use of the boot there by the Swiss player. Admir Mehmedi has committed the foul, and it's going to be a free kick for Albania, about 35 yards out from the Swiss goal, and maybe a chance now for them to do something with the set piece. Yeah,
that'll settle them a little bit. After conceding such an early goal, they had a good bit of possession there, looked after the ball, probed away, come inside, and it's definitely a foul, high foot, and they've got a free kick about 35 yards out.
It was a foul on the captain of Albania, Lorik Sana, winning his 93rd cap, now plays with Nantes, formerly of Sunderland. He was on the receiving end of that one, and now this free kick is being lined up a fair distance out. The goalkeeper just a pace off his line, just 2 in a wall in case. Legnani will chip it into the middle, should be cleared away by Cher. It is, it's an easy volley clear, it wasn't the most decisive of free kicks, really floated into no man's land and easily cleared away.
Easily cleared away, but at least they've got a few ideas. You know, it wasn't really shooting distance. I don't think they had the angle for a cross, so I think that's the best thing they could have tried. It didn't quite come off, but it shows they've been practicing, they've got a game plan, and they've got some different set pieces under the hat.
8 minutes played in this match, being played in Lens on 5 Live from the BBC. The Swiss lead Albania by 1-0. Here on the near side is Roshi for Albania, trying to keep the ball in play. He's done well to force a throw in their favour, just a couple of yards away from the Swiss corner flag on the near side. In fact, it's gone the other way to Switzerland. But Roshi, 6'2", very tall for a winger, tall and rangy and quite quick. He could be an outlet for Albania, and they need to get him onto the ball down the right-hand side if they can. But at the moment, Albania defending with a header back to their goalkeeper from Mavrai, the Cologne player. Perhaps their best player actually is the right back, Haisai, Elsid Haisai. He's a regular in Serie A with Napoli, highly rated 22-year-old, wears number 4, the right back for Albania. They push it long, and it's through to the goalkeeper for Switzerland, Sommer, who misjudged the bounce there. Not sure what was going on there.
I don't think
the ball crept away from him, but he recovers. I
don't think he realised there was a bit of spin on that ball. He misread the spin and nearly got embarrassed. Fortunately, it wasn't heading towards goal, but they've settled down now, Albania. I think they were giving Switzerland a lot too much respect at the start of the game, standing off them. Now they seem to be getting in the faces a little bit and putting a bit more pressure on the ball at an earlier stage.
That's the voice of Trevor Sinclair, former World Cup player with England, former World Cup quarter-finalist with England, alongside us for our commentary of Albania against Switzerland on 5 Live. Wales and England matches to follow at 5 and then 8 o'clock this evening. Everything covered for you on 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra over the duration of the tournament. Here is Granit Xhaka, just outside his own penalty area for Switzerland, plays it to his captain, Lichtsteiner. Lichtsteiner has taken over the captaincy from Gökhan Inler of Leicester City, who's been dropped by the Swiss coach Vladimir Petkovic, basically because he wasn't getting any game time with Leicester. Giroud has to make a saving tackle for Switzerland. He was under a little bit of pressure, and the ball is now with Albania on halfway. Here's the other, Xhaka, winning the ball well in the centre circle, driving out towards its near touchline. He finds Roshi, the tall winger I was just talking about. Back towards Xhaka. The two brothers there tangling for a first time in the game. It's quite aggressive, and the referee from Spain is letting things go. The ball is right on the dead ball line. It won't go out of play for a goal kick, and Switzerland have to play it eventually. But you could see the two brothers there nibbling away at each other's ankles, shall we say, and they weren't being particularly polite.
I'm just wondering how many times their parents have had to drag them apart from each other.
In the back garden,
yeah. You can imagine. Fun and games, that must have been. Fun and games. I think there would be a few ice packs used in that household.
We're just seeing a replay of the goal again, which doesn't make good viewing for the Albanian goalkeeper Erik Berisha of Lazio. He's mainly the Lazio number 2. Doesn't play in Serie A very often, and maybe there was a clue why there.
Yeah, not great. I'm sure he'll be a bit disappointed when he looks at that back. Just going back to the Inler thing, it's a good call from the manager. You know, he's not been playing for Leicester, and I think that's right. If a manager can't see a player how he's developing, what his form's like, he can't play him.
Yeah, good point. Rodriguez plays it forward to Mehmedi now for Switzerland. Rodriguez again in a more central position, back to Granit Xhaka, who's watching out for his brother. There was only 2 paces in front of him, so he passes the ball quickly out of harm's way to Behrami, back to Granit Xhaka. I'm sure Arsenal fans will be watching very carefully to see what they've got with Granit Xhaka. Very prominent on his left foot usually. Plays further forward for Switzerland than he has been doing with Borussia Mönchengladbach, and he's on the ball now. He's the pivot in midfield for Switzerland right at the moment, but the Swiss in no particular hurry because they have the early goal scored inside 5 minutes. Albania 0, Switzerland 1 is the score. The Albanians coached these days by an Italian, but a naturalised Albanian in Gianni Di Biase. He really is a hero now in his adopted country, having led Albania through the doldrums. They really have been a footballing backwater. They didn't always enter tournaments. They've had some interesting times in Albania over the years. Of course, it was at one stage very much a communist country. Beards were banned, rock and roll was banned, but Norman Wisdom films were very welcome indeed. There's going to be a yellow card here now. Yeah, Lichtsteiner, the Swiss captain, is arguing the point with the referee, Carlos Velasco Cabello from Spain, but it was a foul, I think, by the goal scorer. Yeah, it was Cher who took the ball away from Legnani. He's claiming with some justification that he got the ball and the man together, in from the side. I'm not sure that should be a yellow card.
I think he got something on there, on the ball, Legnani. Cher's been booked, but I think he's very unfortunate, because as Legnani went down, it looked like he was a diving swan, but I'm sure there was a bit of contact on the ball, but the referee was on the wrong side and he couldn't really see the contact.
Well, it is a free kick for Albania. Progressive position for them down the left-hand side, as they play from left to right in the first half in this match being played in Lons, and the free kick will be delivered into a congested penalty area. They're queuing up about 8 yards out. 10 players jostling for position, and it's Talent Xhaka who is going to take this free kick. He too is left-footed like his brother, and this will be curled in, he hopes, dangerously from an Albanian point of view. Up he comes, curled in towards the centre of the goal, and an easy take for Jan Sommer, the Mönchengladbach goalkeeper for Switzerland. That was simple for him. Yeah,
catching practice. It's a little bit better than the earlier one that come off the ground with a bit of spin. He comfortably caught that, and he started the attack, and they've let him get through him quite easy here, Switzerland.
Seferovic forward for Switzerland. He gets the ball back on the edge of the area, and his low shot is saved by Berisha. Better this time from the Albanian goalkeeper, smartly down to his right-hand side, as the shot from Seferovic was sent in from right on the 18-yard line, a bit too close to the goalkeeper, who this time hangs on to it, and he'll be grateful for that, I think, Trevor.
Yeah, I mean, it's poor play from Albania there. They switched off as soon as Sommer got the ball. He dispersed it straight away, and Switzerland just went through the midfield of Albania like a butter through knife. They've got to be careful and switch on as soon as the ball becomes dead.
There are plenty of well-known names in the Swiss team, of course. Some of the goalkeeper, Lichtsteiner and Rodriguez, are the fullbacks. Cher, the goal scorer, and Djourou, once of Arsenal, 10 years at Arsenal, they're the centre-backs. Then Jamali, Xhaka, Behrami, Shaqiri, Mehmedi and Seferovic. That's their 11, and they're coming forward now with Zed and Shaqiri. Shaqiri into the penalty area to Jamali. Jamali's shot is blocked, and in the end it's scurried away behind for a corner by the Albanians, who are under pressure again. They're not quite picking up the Swiss players, whose movement is quite clever. Shaqiri getting involved there for the first time since the opening moments.
Yeah, Shaqiri just getting in a little hole there and causing all kinds of problems, getting in between the line between the midfield and the defence, getting on the half turn and causing all kinds of... But you need runners to make forward runs off the ball, and that's what they're getting in the Switzerland team.
So the corner's taken short. It's back with Shaqiri, chance to cross. He lays it back to his captain Lichtsteiner. He's 30 yards out. He fires goalwards. It's blocked easily by Albania, and the ball cannons out to the near side, and Rodriguez, who's done well to keep it in play, not quite. It's run behind in the end for a goal kick for Albania, who have Berisha in goal. Then it's Hisai of Napoli, Sana, Mavrai and Ogoli. Xhaka, we've talked about him. Then Roshi, the big winger. Lenjani, who's normally a left-back, plays on the left side of midfield. Kokeli and Debrashi are supporting Sadiku, the centre-forward wearing number 10, who has scored a couple of really good long-range goals recently for Albania. And they have a free kick now given in the centre circle. We've played for 16 minutes. It's been lively. We've had a goal. Switzerland lead by 1-0. At 5 o'clock we'll be simulcasting with Radio Wales the match between Wales and Slovakia. John Hartson, part of our team there in wine country in Bordeaux for that one. Then Mark Chapman, John Murray in the team. All the 5 live regulars for England against Russia at 8 o'clock at the Stade Velodrome. Here's Rodriguez for Switzerland. Inside his own half, back to Djourou, now of Hamburg. Long right-footed ball over the halfway line, easily headed away by Mavrai to the far side. And now it's Lenjani. Lenjani of Nantes plays his football in France. Short ball to Xhaka and back to Mavrai, and now Sana, who could be playing one of his final games for Albania. He's spoken of retiring from international football in the near future. He was the first Albanian to play in the Premier League when he signed for Sunderland. Here's Rodriguez at the back for Switzerland to Mehmedi. Mehmedi in the field now to Xhaka, and Xhaka to Behrami, back to Xhaka. Good play by Switzerland. Xhaka's given the ball away though. That was a loose pass by him, had it on his right foot, which isn't his favoured foot, and now he bites back into the tackle. That's what he does, he's won it back again. And here's Mehmedi to carry it forward and find Shaqiri, who spins right on the halfway line. Good challenge comes in on him from Mavrai. Mavrai was very solid in that challenge to win it back for Albania. But here is Behrami with the beach blonde hair. One or two of the players who are appearing here for Switzerland, who might have played for Albania, are getting a few boos from the majority in the stadium who are Albanians. Behrami's one of those. He was getting a few cat calls there.
They've had a good start, Switzerland. You can see they're the more cultured side. They've got a lot of history. They were up to about 4 or 5 or 6 in the rankings, and you can see why. They've got a great shape about them, and that urgency when to press seems to be paying off, and they're winning the ball back very well.
It's the 4th time Switzerland have been in the European Championship finals. They've never managed to emerge from the group section in Europe. They've done it in the World Cup, of course, but not in the Euros, and that includes when they were the co-hosts with Austria in 2008, which was a big disappointment at the time. Here's Rodriguez for them to Giroud in the orange and yellow boots, the Ivory Coast-born player. Forward to Shaqiri. Shaqiri's in a more central position at the moment, playing in the number 10 kind of role behind Severovic. Severovic, who scored a very famous winning goal against Ecuador in the last World Cup, and has also scored a very important goal recently for Eintracht Frankfurt to stop them being relegated from the Bundesliga. Here is Behrami, happy to drop deep and find Giroud. 20 minutes played, 1-0 to Switzerland on the BBC. You're listening to 5 Live. The ball is now with Benjani, who spins beyond the halfway line and has got possession in the inside left position for Albania. Gives it to Xhaka. Xhaka first time out to the far side. The ball's not properly controlled though by Kukeli, although Albania retain it. It's played in towards the edge of the box, headed away by Switzerland. Back to Benjani, tight to the touchline on the far side. He goes tumbling over rather easily under pressure from Shaqiri, a Stoke City player who scored a hat-trick in the World Cup. He's another who could have played for Albania, Xherdan Shaqiri. The two countries have met before. They were involved in qualification for the World Cup 2014 in the same qualifying group. Shaqiri scored in both matches. The Swiss won both matches. Shaqiri, because of his roots though, didn't celebrate his goals.
Class act. Bit too keen there to get the ball, and it's a free cross for Albania.
Free cross to the far post, and it's headed away by the man who's been very much at the centre of things for Switzerland. Their goal scorer, Fabian Schär, is also in the book. He's received a yellow card, and this time he was there defensively to flick the ball away for a corner for Albania on the near side. And set pieces could be a route for them, though the Swiss are strong defensively.
Yeah, again, silly foul to give away. He's going nowhere, facing the byline, and it's a free cross. It's led to a corner. Let's see what happens.
It'll be an in-swinger from Legnani. He takes them left-footed from the right-hand side for Albania. Up he comes, a stuttering run in towards the centre of the goal, headed away by Schär for Switzerland. The ball is still inside the Swiss half. Who can pounce on it? It's won back by Albania. They're growing into the game, no doubt about that, and they have possession on the near side with Legnani. Mehmedi's in there strongly, and some very, shall we say, agricultural tackling going on there. The ball is pounded out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in inside the Swiss half, but it is for the men in white, Switzerland.
I don't think it's going to take much more than a spark to get this one very fiery. It's just on the edge at the moment, but I think the lads have got good discipline at the moment, and no one's getting drawn into a war.
I tell you what, it'll never be as fiery as the match in the qualifiers between Albania and Serbia, the match that was abandoned because of the flag being flown above the ground, the Albanian flag being flown above the ground. And now Sana has gone in very strongly. The Albanian captain, who was involved in that match in Belgrade, is going to receive a yellow card. There it is. We heard him speaking proudly about his Albanian nation prior to the kick-off here on 5 Live. and Sana there was a little bit over-vigorous, caught his man around about the shin, and it was a painful one for Jamali. Jamali, guess what, has Albanian parents, so he was fouled by the Albanian captain, Lorik Sana. Yes, the match in Belgrade where the flag was flown over the stadium, it was plucked out of the sky by a Serbian player. The Albanians took exception to that, and then of course there were crowd disturbances, the match was abandoned, the Albanian players were attacked by a few of the supporters and legitimately didn't feel they could continue the match, and eventually it was awarded to Albania by the Court of Arbitration for Sport, so it was a courtroom decision which helped Albania towards their qualification for this tournament in France. They're 1-0 down though against Switzerland, and this time Shaqiri has gone in strongly, and it has got that element of the local derby with all the bloodlines you were talking about there, Trevor, and this time Shaqiri is the offender.
Yes, simmering along this one. The challenge by Sana, I thought that could have really got it going, but they seem to have again a lot of discipline about them. Down to the managers, I would think, getting the players to keep calm. But Albania definitely improving as this game goes on.
Yeah, they're coming forward again, but Cher is across, rising high to head it clear to the near touchline for Switzerland. Rodriguez gets it away, and it's further forward by Switzerland over the halfway line. I think there was a late tackle off the ball there as the ball was cleared away, and the referee might want to have a word with Sadiku, the number 10. It was Cher who cleared it away, and as the ball was played downfield, he was, I won't say chopped down, but Sadiku ran across his line, and the referee was correct to give a free kick, but no more. Here's Haisai defending, the right back for Albania. I talked him up as their best player, but he's lost possession in a dangerous area. Shaqiri gets the ball back, a neat little 1-2 on the edge of the penalty area, but the offside flag was up, and an eagle-eyed assistant from Spain has raised his flag, and it's going to be a free kick for Albania inside their own penalty area. Still 1-0 to Switzerland on 5 Live from the BBC, and that was a very tight offside decision actually, because Albania had a player down on the floor out of the game, potentially playing him onside there, Trevor.
The linesman mustn't have seen him, but he was definitely onside. I think if the linesman had seen him lay down on the floor, he would definitely have let play go on, and it was a dangerous situation, so it's unfortunate for Switzerland that.
The Swiss dominating possession about 60-40, but Albania are certainly more in the game than they were. The ball's on the edge of the penalty area with them. It's played back to Xhaka. Xhaka on his right foot plays it into the box. Back to Xhaka with a shot just wide of the near post. It was a lovely little piece of build-up play there by Albania, and Gianni Di Biase, their coach there, was getting very excitable. The ball was played in short, and it was a neat little back flick by Roshi to set up Xhaka, and the shot, right-footed, was 3 or 4 yards wide of the target, but that was more promising.
Really well manipulated by Xhaka there, played it into Roche, knew what he was doing, dictated the play, demanded the return, and he just couldn't execute the finish. But fantastic play, and it was a long crossfield ball which began that move, and I think they've got to be looking to do that more often.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of life left in this match. 1-0 to Switzerland. Trevor, certainly looking forward to the England and the Wales matches later on.
Absolutely.
Wales v Slovakia at 5. We know you played for England in the World Cup and all of that, but you are an honorary Welshman as well, of course, as one of only 25 players to have ever appeared for Cardiff City in an FA Cup final, and you played alongside Joe Ledley and Aaron Ramsey, players who will be performing for Wales over the course of the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, great set of boys. Really enjoyed my time with them. I hope they do well.
Albania with a cross which is deflected, and they're claiming a corner, and I think, yes, indeed, the ball went off Cher, and it will be a corner. That was good closing down effort from Sadiku, Armando Sadiku, who allegedly was named after Diego Maradona, because Diego Maradona's middle name is Armando, and he was there, wasn't he, last night in Paris, watching the opening game, which the French won by 2-1. That fantastic late goal from Payet. This is the other match in Group A. It is 1-0 to Switzerland, but Albania have a corner to be taken from the far side. Curled in again. Well, nobody attacked the ball in the 6-yard area. It was a lovely ball in, I felt. Cleared away by Cher, who was at full stretch inside his own 6-yard zone. It was a good clearance, but where were the forwards?
What a ball that is by Xhaka. Fantastic delivery. And they'll look at that, you know, at half-time and say, where's the players getting into them areas, because that is superb. That's just one of them balls that says, someone put me in the back of the net.
Marvellous opening for Albania. They were nowhere near profiting. We'll be going back to Lords in just a second, but Albania have stationed themselves deep inside the Swiss half and have a throw-in 5 yards from the corner flag. Highside takes it short to Xhaka. Xhaka under pressure from Mehmedi, has lost it. Mehmedi for Switzerland. Deep inside his own half, weaves away from one would-be tackle, but loses it to Xhaka of Albania. Xhaka forward there to Abrashi. Abrashi is bundled over, and the ball is whacked out of play for a throw-in on the near side, which will go again to Albania. Haisai is going to take it. He can produce a long throw from time to time. The 22-year-old, the Napoli player, hurls it towards the dead ball line. It's crossed by Abrashi towards the edge of the penalty area. Saduku is forced a little bit away from goal by the bounce of the ball, but it's still with Benyani for Albania. Their best period of pressure, high into the box towards Xhaka, who might have been pushing his man, but the Swiss have brought the ball down under control anyway. Rodriguez plays it into midfield, but the Swiss are unsettled. They've lost the ball again in midfield, and here's Haisai to the near side, and Odysseus Roshi taking on one player too many, and the Swiss will get it away. And I think we can go to the cricket now. Pat Murphy. Pat.
Pereira and Herath have added 59, the exhilarating style, the two spinners. They're not cowed at all by the situation. Very enjoyable. England frustrated. Alistair Cook, by the way, the captain, is off the field, hit on the knee at Silimidov, got a bruise just below the knee. He's gone to the hospital for precautionary x-ray. 416 England, Sri Lanka 264 for 6.
Thanks, Pat. We'll keep you right up to date with that, of course, here on 5 Live. But if you want the Test match special commentary, as ever, that's available on 5 Live Sports Extra and on the radio iPlayer and on the BBC Sport app here at the Euros. The match being played in Lens. Albania 0, Switzerland 1. I was a bit reticent to go too quickly to the cricket there, Trevor, because Albania seemed to have set up base camp there in the Swiss half for a few moments.
Absolutely brilliant pressure, possession of the ball. Switzerland can't get hold of the ball, and I'm sure you look at both of the managers, and apart from the scoreline...
Oh, lovely through ball. Sadiko's through here for Albania, saved by the goalkeeper. Sommer stretches out a leg and gets it clear, but it's on the edge of the area. It's 5 goalwards back to Saduku. This time, surely he's offside yet, and the flag goes up. He was on the goalkeeper twice. The first time, well, it was a lovely through ball to Saduku, and he hit it at the goalkeeper's legs, and that was a big scare for Switzerland. It was a wonderful through ball by Haisai, and the goalkeeper came out to make the block.
Good save in the end with his right leg. Again, runs in behind that back four of Switzerland. They don't look comfortable. The keeper was there to save him that time. But what I was saying is that Albania looked much more comfortable. I'm sure that Gianni Di Biasi, the manager of Albania, will be the happiest out of the both, apart from the scoreline.
If he was get punching that first, the air there, wasn't he, in frustration?
Exactly. If you can get that goal, I'm sure there's an absolute game on.
I think he was preparing to punch the air into light, and then it turned into a punch of frustration from Di Biasi, the Albanian head coach. Now we've seen another tasty tackle coming in, this time from Ricardo Rodriguez, the Swiss left back, and he's brought down Haisai. I think they've noted the fact that Haisai, the right back, is perhaps the most accomplished player that Albania have got, because he supplied that great through ball a few moments ago, and that was a bit of a nasty one from Rodriguez, who's apologising, but the deed has been done.
The deed has been done. I've been impressed by Rodriguez in possession. He's breaking forward quickly, giving them an outlet down the left, especially in the first 15 minutes. Been defensive though recently, and he's struggling to deal with it, as are the Switzerland team.
Yeah, Albania progressing in the game, but trailing thanks to that very soft early concession from the corner. Here's Abrashi for them on the near side. The ball breaks for Roshi, strong in the tackle, but he just slightly overruns the ball, and Switzerland sweep it away over the halfway line. Savanovic is very lonely up top for Switzerland. no chance of winning that one, and it's cleared by Albania. And Switzerland playing very deep, and they're not getting Shaqiri and Xhaka, their ball players, into the game at all. And it really is excellent, gritty, determined play in midfield from Albania. Rossi with the ball into the 6-yard box again for the Albanians, and Jan Sommer, the Swiss keeper, is down to claim the ball fairly comfortably, but he had to be very alert a few moments ago with the earlier save. But Albania, the better team just at the moment.
Definitely. And listen, it's not the most pleasing on the eye, but they've got a workmanlike way about them, and they're getting stuck in, they're pressing up high, they're ruffling the feathers of the Switzerland players, and they don't look comfortable, and they're giving the ball away in their own half, and then straight away Albania are into their box.
They're stubborn, certainly Albania, and they're passionate. I don't know how you exactly measure passion, but they do claim to be about the most passionate country in the tournament. A few would argue, I think, that maybe they're more passionate, but you can't measure it, but they want it so badly here, you can tell.
They've got that determination, you can sense it. They've got the bit between the teeth. I think they look like brothers. The team spirit looks great. They look like they believe in each other, and they're not going to let this one go easy. They've gone 1-0 down early doors with a cheap goal, and they're looking like they want to get back in this game.
Yeah, they've recovered quite well, haven't they, from that early upset of the goal. They might have gone into their shells a little bit, but that's not the way of things with Albania. And in qualifying, I mentioned the fact they got those 3 points against Serbia in the court, but also they did win against Portugal in Portugal by 1-0. They drew with Denmark. They've managed to beat France in a friendly over the last year or so. So no slouches, and of course they will be playing the French again in this group a little bit later. That's their next match in Marseille on Wednesday. Then they play Romania. The Swiss play Romania, then France. And you'd expect the French to run away with the group, really. But it could be tight for second and third. Remember, third place could be good enough to go through. It will be good enough to go through in 4 of the 6 groups. Here's Behrani now for Switzerland with the yellow boots. He's certainly the player being booed the most by the Albanian supporters. Here's Shaqiri, who's not that popular either, in all honesty. He goes after a return ball down the right side of the penalty area. He seemed to foul his man there, Shaqiri. Not too sure what the referee's given, but Shaqiri seemed to trip the defender, and it's going to be possibly a goal kick or a free kick. Certainly Albanian ball.
I think he's got to be careful, Shaqiri, because 3 or 4 occasions he's give fouls away, and he's got away with them all at the moment, but if he continues that, I'm sure he's going to be shown the yellow card.
Cleared away by Albania. Here's Behrani of Watford, formerly of West Ham. Long ball forward towards Savanovic. Sana slipped over, almost a chance. Did Sana use his hand there to bat the ball away? Sana's already on a yellow card, and that might have been a red card offence if he used his hand to knock the ball away with a player running through on goal. It's certainly going to be a second yellow, so he's going to be sent off anyway. Lorik Sana, the captain of Albania, is sent off. It's the first red card of the Euros 2016. It comes after 36 minutes. And Lorik Sana, the former Sunderland man, the most experienced Albanian player, the proudest of all Albanian players, has been sent off for the offence on the edge of the penalty area. I'd like to see the replay, but I felt that as he slipped under pressure from Savanovic, he used his hand to knock the ball away from the Swiss forward. Indeed, he did do exactly that. He concedes a free kick on the edge of the box. Savanovic was going to be clean through because of the slip, and it was an instinctive reaction, I think, and he has to go. No,
it's the right call from the referee. You've called it right, Ian. He's misread the spin on the ball. I don't know if it's a really dry pitch, but the ball seemed to bamboozle him. He misread it. He went to ground, and as he went to ground, he just couldn't help himself. He put his arm out because, as you said, Savanovic was clean through on goal with just outside the 18-yard box. Nobody would have got back at him, and at best I think a yellow card, and because he's already been booked, he has to go.
So Albania were battling back into the game. They trail by 1-0, and now they're down to 10 men, and they also have to defend this free kick, which is basically an inch outside of the D, just to the left of centre. Shaqiri is eyeing this one up, the man who scored a World Cup hat-trick. He's left it to Jamali. Jamali strikes it against the post. He beat the wall, it bounced away from the goalkeeper, smacked against the base of the far upright, and Albania were almost 2-0 down and potentially out of the picture, being down to 10 men, but they survive and they get a slice of fortune.
What a strike that was. It had absolute whip on it, real good power, and if that's on target, I don't think the goalkeeper gets anywhere near it.
Well, he was nowhere near it.
Slicer looked like they deserved that, because they had been outstanding after the first 15 minutes. Going 1-0 down, they could have collapsed and felt sorry for themselves, but the fans have got behind them, they've played the part. I think there must be about 20-odd thousand Albanian fans, and they've made themselves heard, and yeah, they were unlucky to get away with that.
Well, Shaqiri was the dummy, really. He was pretending to line up the free kick and then left it to Jamali, once of Bolton Wanderers, and he smashed it against the far post, and it remains just a 1-0 to Switzerland. But Albania have had another huge setback, the early goal, and now their captain dismissed.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, and I think the referee's really strong. He could have easily because there was a little bit of contact between Savanovic and Sana beforehand, so he could have easily took the easy route out and said, listen, it was a foul to the central defender, but he's not. He's been honest with himself, and I think it's the right call, and I think it's the right decision in the end.
Kenyani for Albania with a shot which is deflected. The deflection took all of the weight out of the shot. All of the sting was gone, and it's through to Sommer, the Swiss goalkeeper, who easily picks the ball up, and Switzerland continue to lead by 1-0. They played for 39 minutes, so closing in on half-time. We'll have more of the build-up from Bordeaux and Marseille, updates from the cricket as well during half-time. And we'll be hearing from James Haskell, who was a star of the show in the rugby union earlier when England produced that magnificent victory over the Wallabies. 39 points to 28 was the score in Brisbane. And the Welsh rugby union team, well, they put up a gallant show against the world champions New Zealand. They led at half-time but lost 39-21. Here's Jamali inside the box for Switzerland. This cross is blocked. Albania should clear. They've reorganised. They had to, of course, with their captain and centre-back sent off. So Haisai, the right-back, the 22-year-old, is now the captain, and he's also playing at centre-back for Albania. And the winger, the tall winger, Roshi, who plays in Croatia with club football, he has had to fill in at full-back.
I'll tell you what, Albanian player Lenjani there, he will be the most relieved player on the pitch to see that hit the post and go wide, because he needed to show a little bit more bravery with that shot and take one in the midriff. He didn't, and if that would have went in, he would have felt awful.
Yeah, uncharacteristic. Here's Shaqiri. He's got Behrami over, loading on the far side. He plays it into the penalty area. Lichtsteiner squares it, and it's just wide. Hit first time on the run by the man who hit the post just a few moments ago. Jamali arrived as the spare man, the extra man, inside the penalty area after a nice build-up. Lichtsteiner, the captain, could have hit it himself, pulled it back, and the right-footed shot was wide by about 2 feet.
Yeah, great play by Lichtsteiner. Great movement off the ball, showed great desire to get in that position and be in the space. Picked his pass out superbly well, and all that was missing was the back of the net to start bulging. Super move, deserved the goal.
I think Albania will at this stage be happy to hear the half-time whistle, because the Swiss, if they do get another one before half-time, might be uncatchable in this game. By the way, the mum of the Xhaka brothers is here in the crowd. She's in the stadium in Lens.
I wonder whether she's got a medical backpack with her.
I know what you mean, yes. She must have treated a few bruises and cuts over the years with those two brothers who are not shy in getting involved in one or two of the rougher things on the football pitch. And the parents of the Xhaka boys have been a little coy in saying exactly which team they will be supporting in this game, though they were born in Albania and their sons were born in Switzerland. The ball is with the Swiss. It's played square to Granit Xhaka, right on cue, chips it forward. It's overly long, and it's straight through to Berisha in the Albanian goal. What do you think Arsenal fans might be making of Granit Xhaka? He hasn't been too instrumental in the game so far.
He hasn't, and until the sending off, we didn't see much of him. There was a couple of tasty challenges, but he's not really got on the ball and dictated play as we might have thought. Like I say, the sending off of Sana has changed the complex of this game, and Switzerland look very, very comfortable at the moment.
Here's Behrami to Jamali. Jamali gets it back. Nice ball in between two Albanians to pick out Granit Xhaka. Xhaka on towards Seferovic inside the penalty. At an angle, drills in the shot. Beaten away by goalkeeper Berisha. And Albania off the hook again. That was solid keeping this time from Berisha. He's made a couple of very good stops. But will he ever be able to say he's atoned for the error inside 5 minutes, which allowed Switzerland the free header and the goal from a corner? 1-0 to Switzerland. Albania down to 10 men if you're just tuning into 5 Live for our live match commentary on the match being played in Lons, where Switzerland lead Albania by 1-0, and Albania coming forward through Benyani on the far side, just drifts in field a couple of paces. A rich green playing surface under cloudy skies for this one, but the temperature around about 20 degrees. Could be a bit warmer in Bordeaux and Marseille for the later matches involving Wales and England, though it will be later on in the day. This is the day that the Euros really start for real, with 3 back-to-back matches, and the host nation in good mood after the win yesterday against Romania, though that was close. 2-1 in the end.
Berisha, you have to say he's recovered really well from that early mistake. 7 minutes out to concede a goal, but then to bounce back and make 3 or 4 fantastic saves shows good character. And I'm sure doesn't feel like he's atoned for that mistake for the goal, but at least he's showing good form since then.
Well, Lichtsteiner, the Swiss skipper, has just conceded a corner, so Albania in the approaches towards half-time with a minute remaining before stoppage time have a corner to be taken on the far side, the left, and it's going to be taken on that far side by Talent Xhaka. His brother is defending inside the 6-yard box. He produced a wonderful ball from their side earlier and nobody attacked it for Albania. Let's see if they do better this time. It's in close to the goalkeeper once more. This time he was under a little bit of pressure from Mavrai, but he caught it high above his head. Yeah, Sommer's done a great job there. I think he's seen the last one. He's learnt from that in-swinger. A lot of pace on it, but he's anticipated that. He's on his front foot and he just took it out the air, and that his defence will be very, very appreciative for that. He is a top goalkeeper, Jan Sommer, one of the best in the Bundesliga with Mönchengladbach, who have just sold, of course, Granit Xhaka to Arsenal for the best part of £30 million, and maybe a bit more than that with the add-ons. 1 minute, talking of add-ons, 1 minute added on at the end of the first 45 minutes, with Switzerland leading Albania by 1-0 on 5 Live. The Swiss and the French favourites, of course, to advance from this group. Here now is Memedi for Switzerland to Shaqiri. Shaqiri chips it into the box. He's overhit it. No chance for Seferovic, who gives him the thumbs up. I don't know why players give the thumbs up when it's a dreadful ball. Is it the idea they're applauding?
It's the idea, Ian. It's the idea. But I will say, listen, they've settled well. After the first 5 minutes from the sending off of Sana, I think Albania, they've reorganised themselves. They've changed the setup of the team, and they've started to settle down, and they started to look quite dangerous again, but not as often as they were when it was 11 against 11.
I think the thumbs up means that was rubbish, but I know you'll do better next time. It's
either that or start laughing at him.
There's the half-time whistle. Albania 0, Switzerland 1. So Switzerland taking the early lead through Scher. Fabian Scher, his 6th goal for his country. The Hoffenheim centre-back after poor goalkeeping from Berisha. Albania were getting right back into it, and then they had their captain Sana sent off. The first booking was fair. A yellow card for a rash challenge, and then the handball on the floor on the edge of his own penalty area. 2 yellows and a red, and Albania have it all to do, I think, Trevor Sinclair.
I know, and I mean, Sana will be kicking himself, not for the handball, because I think it's one of them cynical things where you know that you're giving a goal-scoring situation away if you don't handball that. But the fact that he's already given away a handball, been given a yellow card, leaves him in such a vulnerable position as a defender. And you look at defenders, you think with that kind of experience you shouldn't be getting yellow cards on the halfway line for a silly challenge.
And he'll be suspended against the French as well. So half-time in this match in Lons. Albania 0, Switzerland 1. Yes, thanks, Kelly. Just underway in the second half. This match being played in Lons, the stadium which will indeed be staging Wales against England on Thursday. I wonder how many points England and Wales will have before that match kicks off. We'll find out later today, but here it is 1-0 to Switzerland and Albania are down to 10 men. We're just underway in the second half. It's Lenjani up the near touchline for Albania in the red shirts and the black shorts. He's tripped up, but nothing is given by the referee from Spain, and Switzerland get on with the game. Can they make the one-man advantage tell in the second half? They also hit the post, and we're almost 2-0 up before the break, and Albania hanging on in there at the moment. Their first ever appearance in a major football tournament finals, and the Albanians were impressing up to a degree when they were just a 1-0 down and threatening an equaliser without creating too many chances. But then the red card for Lorik Sana, the Albanian captain. First of all, it was a foul and a yellow card for that, and then the deliberate handball as he slipped on the edge of the penalty area brought the second yellow card. And we've seen the replays, and there can be no question the referee got that right in giving Albania the shortfall in personnel for the second half.
Yeah, I think the referee Cabello, you could quite easily have given a straight red for that, so it wouldn't have made any difference. He would have missed the next game, which is France anyway, and he's going to do that. And you know, his teammates are up against it from a silly challenge, and I don't think that was the challenge that he needs to be worried about. I think it was the one on the halfway line, which was just one of them where things were getting a bit tasty and he got sucked in emotionally, and a silly challenge from behind.
Well, if the Swiss are able to take advantage of the situation, they could give themselves a great platform in Group A, of course. If you win your opening game, there's every chance you're going to go through, with the fact that third place will be good enough in most of the groups. The ball's out for a throw-in on the far side. Switzerland all in white. Plenty of red flashings, though, including the white cross on the front of their shirts on a strip of red material. And Albania in the red shirts and the black shorts and the red socks, and Albania, of course, with the bulk of the support here, as was expected in this match in Lens. We've seen lots of Albanian flags, the black eagle on the red background. There was a huge one being passed over the stands prior to the kick-off here, and Albania made the worst possible start, conceding the goal inside 5 minutes. A very soft one scored by Fabian Schär, the Swiss centre-back, a free header from a corner. We've seen Granit Xhaka, the Swiss midfield man, going in very heftily in midfield and conceding a free kick for Albania. The two Xhaka brothers are playing against one another in this match. There was some doubt about the availability of the Albanian Xhaka, Talak Xhaka, because of a thigh injury, but he was past fit and is appearing here against his brother. There is some precedent for brothers playing against each other in the past. Remember Germany against Ghana and the Boateng brothers, one for Germany, one for Ghana. But this is the first time it's happened in a European Championship tournament. The ball is with Switzerland. That's a loose pass, but it's back with their centre-back and goal scorer Schär out to the far side. Rodriguez making a run forward. Lovely ball into the penalty area. Shaqiri is onto it, not quite. It just slithered away from him, and Berisha was off his line, the Albanian goalkeeper, to claim the ball on the slide and take it away from the on-rushing Swiss forward. 1-0 to Switzerland. We played for 4 minutes in the second half.
A little bit too easy, that. Switzerland slicing through the Albanian defence too easily. Again, Berisha redeeming himself and anticipating that through ball to Shaqiri, coming out and smothering the danger. Well done.
So Berisha in goal for Albania. Roshi, the winger, is now playing at right back because of the dismissal of Sana. Aysai has moved over to centre-back alongside Mavrai. Agoli is their left-back. Then it's Talent Xhaka in midfield. Ahead of him, Kokeli, Abrashi and Lenjani. And Saduku, the Zurich striker, who came very close to an equaliser, should really have scored, but hit the ball against the legs of goalkeeper Summer. He is the lone striker wearing number 10 for Albania, but he's chasing through here, and he almost latched onto the end of that one as it was headed back towards his goalkeeper by Giroud. Giroud misjudged the header to his keeper, and the outstretched boot there of the striker Saduku almost got onto the ball before it reached the goalkeeper Sommer, who parried it away, and that was Switzerland living dangerously. Benjani now for Albania, down the near touchline to Agoli. Agoli with the ball in, headed away by Giroud. That might go out for a corner. It spins close to the corner flag. It's just going to be a throw-in, though, for Albania. Advanced position. and he's puffing out his cheek. Sudoku, he was almost onto that one, Trevor Sinclair.
Yeah, and again, Giroud, it looks like it's a problem for him when balls are getting played over his head. I'm not sure he's getting his distances right, or he's anticipating that there's no pressure on the ball, so it could be a long ball. But he got caught out in the first half, which led to a good chance for Albania, and he's just been caught out again. Just got a toe to it. Very, very fortunate.
Granit Xhaka with a diagonal ball for Switzerland into the Albanian penalty area, but Benjani, who is a left-back by trade, although playing left midfield in this game, gets his head to the ball to guide it back to his goalkeeper. It's Sommer in goal for Switzerland, then Lichtsteiner, Cher, Giroud and Rodriguez, Jamali, Xhaka, Behrami, and then Shaqiri, Seferovic and Mehmedi. No changes at half-time. There's been more action at Lords. We'll be going there in just a second because Albania are coming forward, but they've overrun it for a goal kick. Pat Murphy.
And Anderson's got a wicket here. Pereira played very well, went to smear him over mid-wicket, and he got an inside edge taken by Bairstow, the keeper. That's a record amount of catches now by keeping the 3-test series to Bairstow, 19. 288 for 8 Sri Lanka.
Thank you, Pat. And the commentary continues on Test Match Special on 5 Live Sports Extra. And online, don't forget you can watch in-match highlights online as well with the cricket. Here's Lichtsteiner for Switzerland down the near side. He's in attacking position here, the captain, the right full-back. He's normally a right wing-back, really, with Juventus. And he does love to come roaming forward at what is the near touchline in the second half for Switzerland. Lichtsteiner, who's won the Scudetto with Juventus 5 seasons in a row. He really is a mainstay of the Juventus defence, but they play 3 at the back normally, and he's a wing-back. Here on the edge of the area is Xhaka for Switzerland to Lichtsteiner, who stayed forward. Left-footed ball comes in looking for Shaqiri, headed away, drops into midfield for the other Xhaka for Albania, but he can't control the ball. It's won back by Mehmedi. Mehmedi now to Behrami. Behrami gives it to Xhaka. Xhaka into the penalty area. Here's a chance for Seferovic. He drills it straight at the goalkeeper. Berisha makes the stop at his near post. That was another opening for Seferovic. He's twice now been denied by Berisha, and the Swiss are certainly threatening a second goal.
Yeah, absolutely. A great strike. I think it was straight at Berisha, who dealt with it well. But again, the amount of saves that he's having to make is a concern for Diabiase. But looking offensively, if they can look to get Sadiku over the top of Giroud, I think that's their biggest danger.
Here's Lichtsteiner, as advertised, pressing forward, flicked across the penalty area by Shaqiri, but I think Seferovic beyond the far post had just strayed offside. That's the verdict from the Spanish officials, and that will be a free kick at the back for Albania. Albania 0, Switzerland 1 on 5 Live from the BBC. At 5 o'clock we're in Bordeaux for Wales against Slovakia. It's been a 58-year wait for Wales to take part in a major championship. They're sweating on the fitness of goalkeeper Wayne Hennessy. Ahead of that one, talk of a back injury for the Crystal Palace keeper, and it could be quite a baptism for Danny Ward of Liverpool, who has very limited experience with Liverpool and indeed with Wales.
Yes, just looking back at that save by Berisha, I'll have to give you a bit more credit. It was a reflex save, and he got his right arm to it. He's gone in the near post, good save.
I think Wales could do with Hennessy being fit, no doubt about that. It would be a disruption if Danny Ward had to play, even though he is a good young goalkeeper. And Slovakia are a strong team. I think they've been underrated quite a bit in the build-up to the tournament. The ball is played forward here by Switzerland. Comes to Jamali just outside of the penalty area. He gives it square to Xhaka, and left-footed he sends it way off target. And Arsenal supporters will be hoping when he gets to the Emirates Stadium he'll strike the ball more accurately and cleanly than he did that one.
Yep, absolutely. Good opening. Just didn't connect properly, and the execution was poor in the end. But just going back to Hennessy, you want your experienced players in that position. You know, goalkeepers, they seem to get better with age, and I'm sure Coleman will be hoping that they can get him out on there 100% fit.
4 o'clock UK time, we should have the official team news from Bordeaux for Wales against Slovakia. Slovakia, who beat Germany 3-1 recently, also drew 0-0 with Northern Ireland, and will be in the Northern Ireland camp, by the way, at the end of this match here, to hear some of the build-up ahead of their match, their first match which is actually tomorrow at 5 o'clock against Poland. You can hear that, of course, on 5 Live after Turkey against Croatia and before Germany against Ukraine. The match is coming thick and fast at the moment, and very soon we'll be into the meat of the tournament, Trevor.
Yeah, it started really well last night. I'm not sure about the opening ceremony for me, but the game itself, the main event, was a good game. Fantastic, exciting finish as well for the host nations, and this has started off quite well as well. It's an exciting game. There's been lots of activity.
And Yanni with the throw for Albania, 1-0 down to 10 men. The men from the Balkans, their historic first ever appearance in a major finals. They weren't always able to enter tournaments because of the political situation in the Balkan area, but Albania are here, certainly alive and kicking. Shaqiri is making a run for Switzerland up the near touchline. Haven't seen too much of the Stoke man, and he ran into the challenge which came in from Mavrai. And Switzerland start again over on the far side with Granit Xhaka in the green boots. Flings one out to Shaqiri, who controls it well on his right foot, but he was too close to the defender. Lenjani gets it out of play for a throw-in for Switzerland. Shaqiri should be demanding the ball a lot more. He's got it here, rather fortunately just outside of the penalty area. He's overrun it, and the ball ricochets kindly in the end for Albania. The throw to their goalkeeper Berisha, who's in a hurry to clear downfield, and he's overhit it, and it will bounce goalkeeper to goalkeeper. And that tactic won't work for Albania if they fling it forward to just one man on his own up front in Saduku. He's not a miracle worker. No,
and I think Berisha's got to realise that, the game tactics shouldn't be that, because actually the Albanian players, when they get on the ball, they're being very brave. They're looking to get on the ball in their own half, and they've got individual skill to look after it. So I would stick to that strategy if I was the Albanian coach.
Here's Lichtsteiner inside the penalty area for Switzerland. He's tackled just in the nick of time. The ball is worked away by Albania to this near side and cleared away by Lenjani. Now it is Xhaka tangling with Bayrami, and Bayrami has won it for Switzerland. Long ball forward towards Savanovic again. He's just offside. We could see the flag up on the near side, and a free kick for Albania. And there's a little bit of a scuffle going on. Savanovic isn't happy, and there's one or two tasty little incidents going on out there. Not all of them, shall we say, on the ball, and the officials need to be very watchful.
Yep, I mean, listen, you're down to 10 minutes, hot, you're 1-0 down, you've got to use everything at your disposal, and if that's getting a bit niggly with each other to put somebody off the game, then why not? But I do think in these positions here, Albania really looking after the ball well. It's just getting into that final third where they're lacking a little bit, but if they get a bit of luck and they can get some players in support in that final third, I'm sure they've got chances in them.
That's the voice of experience, Trevor Sinclair, with us on 5 Live, as he will be throughout the tournament here, with plenty of interest in England and one or two other countries as well. You have some Irish blood in you as well, don't you, Trevor?
I do, yeah. My mum's from Sligo, so I'm definitely diverse in the teams, nations that I support. But yeah, I'll be looking to the Irish boys, hoping they can put a good performance in.
Yeah, covering a few bases, a good idea actually. I think it could be a wide open tournament. I made France my favourites quite a few months ago, and then I found out everybody else was making them their favourites, so I didn't feel too clever at that. But my dark horses are Austria. One or two people have said that, but not the majority, so I'll stick with them as the dark horses in the tournament. Yeah,
France are mine. I don't think Spain are going to be far away. They've got good defence, good players, got a fantastic centre forward now, so they're not going to be a million miles away. I'm going for Croatia, my dark horses. I think you look at the players that they've got at their disposal, they've got a fantastic team spirit. I remember playing with some good players.
Oh, here's Lenjani coming forward for Albania into the penalty area. He's forced a bit wide by Lichtsteiner, and now it's back with the stand-in captain. In comes across from high side. It's a little bit too high, and it's claimed by the goalkeeper Jan Sommer, who bowls it out pretty well to Xhaka. Xhaka's over the halfway line. Here's Jamali with a strong run. He's got Savanovic available ahead of him. He doesn't find him though. He stumbles over. Albania biting into their tackles. That was good play by Agoli, and he is supported on the near side by Abrashi of Freiburg, promoted in Germany back to the Bundesliga last season. They've got one or two players from the Bundesliga and Serie A. Albania. They're no slouches, but they are down to 10 men, and they are the most lowly ranked nation in the competition. And I think Albania just about the only ones not mentioned there by Trevor when he was running through all the potential winners. Have you finished listing the potential winners?
If you give me a couple more minutes, I will be.
Rodriguez tries a cross from the far side for Switzerland. It's cleared, but they're corralled back inside their final third, are Albania at the moment. There's a Swiss player to Savanovic. He tries a little layoff. I think he was looking for Mehmedi. We don't really know because it was so inaccurate. It runs behind, and we're going to see a substitution now. It's the first of the game. It's being made by the Albanian coach, the Italian Gianni Di Biasi, and he's bringing on one of their youngsters, Ergis Kachai, who scored the winning goal against France in a friendly. He's coming on, but not before we've heard from Pat Murphy. Another wicket at Lords.
And another wicket for Jimmy Anderson. A good low catch by Root at second slip. Lakmal, a negligible batsman. He's gone for naught. Sri Lanka now 288 for 9. Remember, England got 416.
Thank you. Commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra. We've played 61 minutes here. It's 1-0 to Switzerland, and we're going to see a very bright young talent coming on now for Switzerland as well. Breel Embolo, he is coming on in place of Mehmedi. Embolo is just 19 years of age. He's being trailed by a host of top clubs around Europe, including 1 or 2 in the Premier League. He was born in the Cameroon, and he comes on for Switzerland. And the player who went off, by the way, for Albania was the Xhaka brother, Talent Xhaka. So brother against brother is finished for now, and Talent Xhaka was not very happy. I just saw a snippet there, a replay of him, showing a lot of dissent. Maybe he was just angry that he's got this niggly injury problem that has forced him off, or maybe he didn't want to go off. I don't want to put words into his brain, but he wasn't happy.
No, looking at the footage, he didn't look injured to me, but he has covered a lot of ground. Obviously, they've been down to 10 men for a while now, and I think it's good management by Biasi.
Here come Switzerland. Bayrami, he is challenged from behind by Kache. I was just about to tell you something interesting about Kache, who receives the yellow card there, and that is that in Greek football he's regarded as one of the most hot-headed players, and in Greek football that is something to claim, I can tell you. He got 5 red cards last season, Kache, and there he was dragging back Bayrami by the shorts.
He could have got 2 yellow cards in one there. He's tried to nick Bayrami's shorts, and then he's hacked him down. What a shocking challenge that is.
I'll tell you what, Bayrami wasn't going to get away from him.
Shocking challenge. Maybe that's why he didn't start, because he wouldn't have finished the game.
We could see the make of his underwear there as the shorts were pulled back by the substitute Kache.
Very clean anyway.
Yeah. It's a free kick for... Obviously not playing with any fear there, Trevor. It's a free kick for Switzerland. The foul was clear-cut. The yellow card has been shown, and the free kick is taken low into the 6-yard area, straight at the goalkeeper. Shaqiri it was who hit it, left-footed, and the keeper was right behind it. He was trying to catch him out with a low trundler, and he wasn't to be beaten.
Never comfortable to receive them balls, just as they bounce just in front of you, but he dealt with it really well, Spider-Man-like handling, and it stuck.
63 minutes played. Albania 0, Switzerland 1 on 5 Live at 5 o'clock. Wales against Slovakia. It's creeping ever closer in Bordeaux. I must admit, in my 26 years covering Wales, I saw some very interesting games against Slovakia. A 5-1 win for the Slovaks in Cardiff, when Gareth Bale scored his first international goal at the age of 17, and then the return match in the same qualifying group for the Euros in 2008, it was 5-2 for Wales in the away match when Craig Bellamy scored a couple of goals. So it's nothing if not unpredictable, Wales against Slovakia, and I'm not really putting too much money on today's outcome.
Very difficult game, very difficult game. Obviously the first game in the tournament is very exciting, but you don't want to lose it whatever you do. So be interesting to see what team they put out, and especially for the Welsh side, what goalkeeper they get in there.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in, there is a doubt over Wayne Hennessy, but all will be revealed at 4 o'clock. Chris Coleman's sweating on that. Well, I suppose Chris Coleman knows the outcome already. The rest of us are sweating on it. Here's Bayrami in the centre circle for Switzerland. To their goalkeeper, their goal scorer rather, Cher. He's just beyond the halfway line by a couple of yards. He plays it square to Granit Xhaka. Xhaka comes forward, no longer playing against his brother, who's been taken off. Sharing low to the edge of the penalty area. He was looking for Severovic, and we're still waiting to see Breel Embolo in possession, and we won't for the moment because here's Legnani down the near side for Albania, taken out of it by Bayrami, but the referee plays an advantage, and here's Kache down the near side of the penalty area. And Yanni's still down. That was quite a bad foul, actually. The referee's still playing the advantage. I don't think he'll go back for it now. Abrashi gives it to Roshi. Roshi has run off the ball, though, and here's a chance for Embolo to come up over the halfway line, and that's a great through ball. An opportunity for Severovic to make it 2, but out comes the goalkeeper.
What a save.
Berisha has made the save with his foot, perhaps with the studs of his boot, as he came flying off his line to deny Severovic for a third time in the game after a wonderful through ball by the bright young talent that is Breel Embolo.
Very, very good ball. It's difficult to do this as a young player, get the right pace in the right direction. Fantastic little slip ball, and brilliant play from the goalkeeper for Albania, Berisha, from that initial mistake in the first half. It could have been 4 or 5 goals he conceded. He's done very well.
Bayrami, by the way, has received the yellow card for that earlier foul. The referee played advantage, you remember, for Albania, and it almost worked out to be an advantage for Switzerland. Let's go back to Lords and the cricket. Pat.
Sri Lanka are all out 288. They've wrapped the tail up in predictable fashion. The last 3 wickets went for 12. Chris Woakes just now got Iranga caught by Vince. It slipped for 1 wicket shared. England's lead 128.
So at least no follow-on. Here are Switzerland's Test match special continues on 5 Live Sports Extra for the England second innings. Here come Switzerland with the youngster Embolo on the far side. He thinks he's won a corner. He's not going to get a corner. It is going to be a goal kick. Goal kick for Albania. They're still in the game, Trevor.
They are. Again, should we be surprised? You know, you look at the manager, DiBiase. He looks like he's got them well drilled. They're going across the pitch laterally, making sure there's no gaps in the midfield, and they're having to work very, very hard to keep this at 1-0. When they get the ball, they're looking quite dangerous, so could go either way this game.
Still 1-0 to Switzerland. I suspect if they score a second, that will be it, really. But Albania are doggedly, very much still in this game being played in Lens on 5 Live from the BBC. It's 1-0 to the Swiss. The very early goal given away in a horribly soft fashion by Albania. They will have nightmares about it, especially the goalkeeper, if it turns out to be the only goal of the game on their big day, the day they've waited for so long. And Lorik Sana, the captain, as well, so eloquently spoken in the build-up to the match, talking about the historic perspective of it all, and then sent off 9 minutes before half-time. But it was the correct decision, and Albania have had to play all of the second half with 10 men, but they're still in the picture with 22 minutes remaining. Albania 0, Switzerland 1 on the BBC. The ball is on the far side with Jew for Switzerland. Outnumbered in terms of support in the stadium, the men from the Alps, but certainly pre-match favourites to win the game and leading the game by the single goal. Albania have possession now on the near side with Legnani, who's always willing to come forward. He's got a bit of space now. Can he play it wide to the near side to Sudoku? He's forced him a bit wide with a pass, but the cross could yet come in. It's a low one, easily defended by Cher, but he's only able to knock it away for a corner. Thought he might have been able to sweep that away for a throw, but he's conceded the corner for Albania.
All credit to Albania. You know, they're again looking very disciplined in defence, keeping nice and compact, and then on the break they look quite dangerous. Not really getting as many bodies in the box as they'd like, but they still look dangerous, and this is a real good situation for them.
Kache with the corner, headed away well there by Cher, flicked on by Shaqiri, but picked up again in midfield by Albania in the centre circle with Kukeli of FC Zurich with 2 different coloured boots. He finds the captain now, the stand-in captain, Haisai wants the ball back, but instead it's plunged all the way back to the goalkeeper Berisha, who's outside of his penalty area, to clout it away left-footed. Again he's overhit it, and it's mopped up by Switzerland, but Legnani heads it back, and good play by Sadiku, keeps possession for Albania down the near side. They've done well. Here is Legnani again. Legnani, French-based player with the very bright dazzling yellow boots, but he's out-dazzled himself there. He's lost it to Behrami. Behrami with some silky skills turns it forward for Switzerland. They're over the halfway line, and here's Mbolo. Mbolo looking for Severovic with another through ball. This time it's cut out though by Kukeli, and it remains 1-0 to Switzerland, and we're into the final 20 minutes.
Yeah, frustrating Switzerland. They'll be happy because they're 1-0 up, but really they're still looking like they could concede on the counter-attack. They need to make sure they concentrate at the back while they're attacking and having all this possession, because if they don't, they'll be punished.
The ball is played forward into the penalty area by Switzerland, but the goalkeeper Berisha will catch the ball. You don't want to be heavily beaten in any game, because of course your record could be compared with third-place teams in other groups in that regard.
Not only that, Ian, Dibiase will be able to take lots of positives from this game. Conceding in the 7th minute, fine. Since then, arguably they were a better team in the first half until they went down to 10 men, and then for the second half they've looked after themselves. They've not looked like they're going to concede 4 or 5 goals. So for me, if they keep it at 1-0, then at least the manager can gain on the positives, and they can still get confidence from this game going into the next game.
Yeah, because of the format of the tournament, if Albania lose this game and then lose to France in Marseille, as most people expect, they could be going into the game against Romania, the final game, on 0 points, but they'd still have hope because of the way the tournament is organised, with only 8 teams being dismissed in the group stages.
Absolutely, and I'm sure they realise the different ways that this could work out, and they need to make sure they're in it in that final game where they could possibly get through on their first time in the tournament.
You could potentially qualify with 1 point, would you believe, for the knockout stages. The ball's on the far side with Albania. They're baying for a free kick for a foul by Rodriguez, but the assistant was right on the spot, saw nothing wrong, transmits that view to the referee, and play continues with Severovic giving chase down the left-hand side for Switzerland. He's level with the penalty area. Across comes the defender, Mavrai, trying to make life difficult for him, forces him right into the corner quadrant, and Mavrai brings the ball away for Albania, and the big bearded centre-back is tugged back and accepts the free kick for Albania in their right-back area.
15 minutes to go and they're taking the ball into the corner. I think that's a compliment to the Albanians, how well they're doing and how good their game plan is working.
Now Albania are bringing on the centre-forward Sikaleshi, who started most of their group matches in qualification. He doesn't score many goals, but his main attribute is his ability to hold the ball up, and he is coming on now in place of Roshi, who has been playing as the emergency right-back since the sending off of Sana. So Roshi goes off, and Sikaleshi comes on. He's only ever scored 2 goals. He didn't score in qualification, but he hit the woodwork 3 times in the qualifying group. They count those things when you're not scoring many goals.
Absolutely. I used to count them in training.
Sokol Sikaleshi.
I think that's what they need, hold-up play. Now, obviously, it's going to be long. You need someone who's a big lad who can get hold of the ball and hopefully keep possession, hold it in time, so that you can get some support up to him. You look at what Sadiku was doing, and it was just bouncing back all the time. So I think this gives them a different game plan, and hopefully we'll be able to get some support up to him.
They've got 2 forward players, basically unheard of for Albania. But it needs to be done if they're to take something from this match being played in Lons, where it's 1-0 to Switzerland still. Here's Shaqiri. Shaqiri turns it back to the halfway line, and Cher, who scored that goal an awfully long time ago. Now it's Johan Djuru, the former Arsenal man for Switzerland, to Rodriguez, the Wolfsburg player with the dark hair and the ponytail. And Switzerland are happy to play the ball amongst themselves around the halfway line, because they have the advantage, and they would certainly settle for 1-0 despite the fact they played more than half of the game with a 1-man advantage, because 3 points is basically 3 points. Thank you very much. Here is Cher forward to Shaqiri, stocky little figure trying to spin, low centre of gravity of course, to the edge of the penalty area to Severovic, who might have scored a hat-trick. He finds Mbolo, and his shot is wide of the far post. He tried to just wrap his foot around the ball and bend it away from the goalkeeper, but it didn't come back.
Impressive play by Switzerland. That's what they need to do. Be patient on the ball, suck 1 or 2 of the Albanian players out of that defence to create holes, then play it into there. Shaqiri did well. Good build-up play, and Mbolo, you could see what he was trying, just missed the target, but hit the camera straight in the face. Good move.
Yeah, even I was ducking there. Mbolo off target then. It remains 1-0 to Switzerland, and they are making another change. Jamali, who hit the post in the first half with that free kick, goes off, and Fabian Fry comes on as the substitute, wearing number 8. Fabian Fry, who once scored a goal for Basel that knocked Liverpool out of the Champions League not so long ago. That was 2014. Now plays for Mainz in Germany, and Fry is on to stiffen the midfield a little bit here for Switzerland, more defensively minded than the man he's replaced, Jamali, and the ball is on the far side with Albania, level with the Swiss penalty area. Nice ball into space. Here's an opportunity. Oh, it's hit into the side netting. Sadiku it was. The man with 3 goals in the build-up to the tournament in friendlies had a massive opportunity. It was a tightish angle, but he'd managed to steal in behind the Swiss defenders, hit it first time. It was always heading into the side netting. Surely he should have dragged it across goal.
Listen, it's a poor effort, but that ball from Hisai was unbelievable. The angle he got on that and the pace of the ball, what an intricate pass, superbly weighted. It deserved to be finished. That might be their last chance for Albania.
I told you Hisai was their best player. He wouldn't listen, Trevor. He's got the captain's armband now. I think he's gone back to right back, hasn't he? They've shuffled things around again, and Kukeli is filling in as a centre back.
Wonderful vision. Deserved a goal at the end of that.
Definitely.
Superb.
Sadiku, I think he might be the only player in the tournament who plays his club football in Liechtenstein with Vaduz. Sadiku. He's on loan there from Zurich, so might be heading back to Switzerland for next season. The ball's with Giroud on the far side for the Swiss. And I think 1 or 2 of the Swiss supporters are anxiously looking at their watches at the moment. Listeners to the BBC World Service are with us as well, as we bring you commentary from this match in Lens, where Switzerland are leading the minnows of Albania by 1-0. Albania in their first ever tournament finals down to 10 men. They have been since the 36th minute. And it was Fabian Schär who scored the early goal with a header after 5 minutes for Switzerland. Here's Shaqiri, the Stoke City man for the Swiss, gives it short to Fry to Lichtsteiner, to Fry into the penalty area, and Bolo with a little touch on towards Shaqiri. Albania should clear, it's not the best. It comes to Schär, the challenge comes in on him, and it's Lenjani on the near side now for Albania. Plays it into the heart of their defence, and here's Abrashi. Abrashi's made a good run actually, slaloming up towards the halfway line. His ankles were tapped as he crossed the halfway line, and Fry is being warned.
Cheap challenge that from Fry, nowhere near it, cynical challenge. Should really, for me, get a booking because it interrupted a quite promising attack there for Albanians.
Yeah, it was a we're 1-0 up and we don't want you crossing the halfway line challenge, wasn't it?
Experienced challenge, I would say.
No yellow card, gets away with it, so well worth it, he'll be thinking. A goalie back to the heart of the Albanian defence, where it's played forward by Kukeli. Headed on by the substitutes, the latest substitute, Sikaleshi, but he can't make anything of it. It runs through to Sommer in the Swiss goal. He slips as he clears down the far side, and that means that Albania might be able to win it back on the right-hand side. Hisai's making a run. He hasn't been fed the ball, though. Instead, it's hit further forward into the penalty area. Shouts for a penalty there from about 25,000 shrieking Albanians, but nothing is given. There is certainly contact between the Swiss captain Stefan Lichtsteiner and Ermir Lenjani, but the referee from Spain says no. We'll await the replay there with some interest. Fry onto Mbole at the other end, and it's through to goalkeeper Berisha, who clears it away for Albania. Still 1-0 to Switzerland. We're almost into the last 10 minutes of this match in Lens at Euro 2016 on the BBC. Wales against Slovakia kicking off at 5 UK time. And then at 8 o'clock UK time, we're in the melting pot city of Marseille to see how England can start the tournament against Russia. And the team news from the England camp will be eagerly awaited by a lot of people. It's far from clear-cut, even at this late stage. Schär forward now to Shaqiri on the edge of the penalty area for Switzerland. Low shot kept out by the goalkeeper, and he grabs it at the second time of asking. He softened the blow with his gloves and then grabbed the ball.
Spatial awareness, if you know no one's around you, you can do that. again, I think he's been wonderful since the mistake he made in the 7th minute, which led to the one and only Switzerland goal that they've got. It's just a shame he made that mistake so early, because it would have been an interesting match.
Well, the England Rugby Union team have already set a bit of a standard with their victory in Australia earlier on. Fantastic result, 39 points to 28 against the Wallabies in the first of the 3 test matches. Wales were beaten though by New Zealand in the other Rugby Union international played this morning UK time by New Zealand. Here's Severovic, was he brought down by the goalkeeper? The ball is run behind, I think, for a goal kick. What has the referee decided yet? He's decided it's going to be a goal kick. And Berisha, I think, the Albanian goalkeeper, just for a moment had a horrible feeling that he might have given away a penalty with that sliding tackle nowhere near the ball, but the referee judged that Severovic had already knocked it past him and had no chance of catching it again.
Well, I think if he doesn't jump out the way of the challenge, Berisha does one thing and one thing only, and that's clatters into the centre forward.
A penalty has certainly been given in the past for exactly that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Now, should him jumping out the way, should that have anything to do with the outcome?
What about the shout at the other end? We're seeing a replay of Albania's claim for a penalty, and that looks to be a good shout too. Lichtsteiner was manhandling Benyani, and Albania have a case.
Not for me. I think that's good experience defending, holding his own space, and using his body just to usher the ball out of play. It was a bit deep anyway. I think if the ball was a bit closer to the forward, then maybe you've got a case, but for me, no penalty.
I think at both ends of the pitch there, the referee made a similar decision, that the ball wasn't quite within playing range, and that's why he didn't give a penalty to either nation. Here's Shaqiri squirming away. It's a good slippery run by him. Severovic back across the penalty area. Shaqiri's offside. The goalkeeper comes out of his line and makes the save anyway. Shaqiri doesn't know he was offside.
I don't think he was offside, Ian. I think it's a foul. It's a cynical one. I think he pulls the defender down, and for me that should be a booking, because that could lead to a goal scoring situation, and if he scores that, he's pulled the wool over the referee's eye. That should be a booking.
Well, the referee spotted it. I heard the whistle going. I thought it might have been offside, but having seen the replay, yes, it was a foul by Shaqiri, and good refereeing to spot it, even though the yellow card didn't follow. Absolutely.
I tell you, he used to do that all the time. The one and only Mr. Ian Wright. Naughty boy.
And he's not here to defend himself. Gashi is on now for Albania, their final substitution. He plays in the USA these days, along with Kevin Doyle for the Colorado Rapids. Does Gashi, another forward-thinking player for Albania. They've got to just about throw caution to the wind, but they've got to be mindful of the potential damage that could be done to their goal difference if they concede a second or a third in the final few minutes.
And so the confidence
it's a bit of a difficult balancing act.
Yeah, and the confidence as well, I think, in the team morale. If they get beat 1-0 after being down to 10 men for so long, I think they can take so many positives from that. If you go for it now, Hungo, I think you could get done 2 or 3, and then the confidence is not quite there. So I think they're being clever, but there's got to be a stage where they really go for it.
Here's Fry for Switzerland, hits one from outside of the penalty area. He claims a deflection. It's going to be a corner. In fact, it did nick off the Albanian defender, and it's going to be a corner for Switzerland, who still lead by a 0-0 in the 84th minute of this match in Lens. The floodlights on under cloudy skies. It's been a humid afternoon in northern France for this second match in Group A. Switzerland aiming to join France at the top of the table on 3 points, and they're within a few minutes of doing exactly that after a largely indifferent performance. They've had chances to extend their lead, but they haven't totally stamped their authority on the game despite the one-man advantage for the best part of an hour, given all the stoppage time, etc. In comes Shaqiri's corner, massively overhit by the Stoke man. What was he doing there?
I think he's been doing too many leg weights. He doesn't miss leg day, I know that for sure by the size of his calves.
Yeah, he has some quads, it's fair to say, does Shaqiri.
I think out of both the managers, Pelkovic, the Swiss manager, has got a lot more food for thought, because this has been a very underwhelming performance, especially playing against 10 men for so long. Whereas I think when you look at the Albanian performance, there's been so many positives to take from this game with 10 men.
Well, Switzerland's next game is against Romania in the Parc des Princes in Paris on Wednesday. Here come Switzerland with Shaqiri. Shaqiri getting slightly more involved in the game in the latter stages, though he has been relatively calm and quiet in the match, I would say, by his standards. I know one or two people around the globe have written previews of the Euros in which they've said what a scintillating first season Shaqiri had with Stoke City, but I thought he was rather inconsistent in the red and white stripes.
Is that not a winger? Is that not the usual for a winger? Inconsistently can be absolutely match winners, and then other games you'll think, well, he's not been involved. I think he's done okay. I think really you'd have to credit Albania, and they've deprived him the ball because of their play and their defensive stability. But again, going forward here, they look quite exciting.
Yeah. Albania with Legnani calls one into the penalty area, too close to the goalkeeper. Sommer is their first bounce to claim it and roll it out for Switzerland, who still lead 1-0. 4 minutes remaining. There might be 4 minutes added on, actually. There have been a string of substitutions in the second half, plus a couple of injuries. I think Trevor Sinclair was speaking there as a man who might have been called inconsistent himself in the past, and maybe only got a 6 out of 10 in one or two newspapers.
Similar to my golf at the moment. I can play well, and another day I stand over the ball, don't know how to hit the club.
Albania head the ball into the Swiss penalty area, but it ricochets away, and Shaqiri pings the ball up the far side, looking for Savedovic, who's been a willing runner. You have to say that about him. He's managed to wriggle free into the penalty area a couple of times, Savedovic, and should really have scored a second goal for Switzerland, which would have made their ride over the last 3 or 4 minutes a lot more comfortable. Benyani is through here. No, it's not Benyani. It's played over the top of the bar. Gashi it was, who should have scored for Albania. The flag stayed down. He was all on his own through the middle. It was the correct decision to allow play to continue. Gashi took the ball onto his left foot, and it was saved by Sommer, who got something on the ball to flick it away for a corner which has been wasted by Albania. There's bedlam on the near touchline. The Albanians cannot believe they have not equalised. Gashi it was, freshly on the pitch. Number 11, he was through. Trevor Sinclair, what a moment in the match.
Incredible fingertip save.
Great save by Sommer, you have to say.
Incredible fingertip save. He stood up so well. He said, listen, if you're going to score, you've got to beat me. He's a big man, Sommer. He stayed strong, and then his reflexes were superb. Unfortunate for the boy who's just come on. Maybe he was a little bit cold and fresh into the action. But for me, that's got to be a goal-scoring situation where if he can execute that, what a result that would be for Albania.
Albania should be level. Great work there by the linesman to keep the flag down. Gashi was through. He had so much time to think about it. In the end, it goes down as a good save, but it should have been buried into the back of the net by the substitute, Shkelzan Gashi, the man who plays in America. He wasn't sharp enough, and now Switzerland have a free kick at the other end. And they'll bide their time over this after that huge alarm they had. Kukali has gone into the book there for Albania. Could you see the Albanian players in the background after the save was made there and Gashi missed his big moment? They were thrashing the turf in anger. They were on their knees. The Albanian bench were basically bursting onto the pitch to celebrate the equalising goal, but the ball did not hit the net.
All that hard work, Ian, working tirelessly off the ball to limit Switzerland, just come into one flash moment there, and if they could have scored it, it would have been well worth it. If they come out of this game, it will be hard to take, but once the dust settles, I'm sure the manager, Dibiase, will be able to settle the boys and say, listen, you should be proud of what you've achieved, the way you've conducted yourself today, and getting beat 1-0 is no disgrace.
Well, 75 seconds of normal time remaining, plus stoppage time in this match in Lens. Wales against Slovakia is just 75 minutes or so away on 5 Live. You're listening to 5 Live in the BBC World Service, and Switzerland hoping to close out the match now without any further alarm. But they haven't been convincing, the Swiss, in this match. They were sore away favourites to take the 3 points, but they haven't totally imposed themselves on the game, Trevor.
No, they haven't, and like I said earlier, I think Vladimir Pelkovic, the manager of Switzerland, will have much more thinking to do, and why this didn't work out. They've been playing against 10 men for so long of this game, and they've not looked like the better team on a lot of occasions. They've moved the ball too slowly, they've not created too many chances, and they've looked vulnerable at the back.
Great noise from the Albanian supporters as they pump one into the Swiss box. Too much adrenaline, it's through to the goalkeeper Jan Sommer. The Swiss have made another change. Gelson Fernandez, you might remember him playing for Manchester City and also Leicester City. He's on, and off has gone Shaqiri after an inconsistent performance.
Yeah, I would say he's not done too much. He's shown some nice flashes of play, but in general you'd like to get a little bit more from him. But again, I think you have to compliment Albanians for that. They've been really compact, they've been disciplined in a lot of ways, and even situations like this where the 10 men, you've got to be brave on the ball and they've not just been lumping it. So I think they deserve the opportunity that they're in, and which is still in the game with seconds to go.
Well, 3 minutes have been added on. We've had 30 seconds of those already. Albania are pressing still with Haisai on the far side. He's done well to win the ball in a tackle, and Albania sweep it to the near side. Benyani's always willing to come forward on the left-hand side. It's a decent cross, slightly overhit, headed away by Behrami, kept in play by Haisai on the far side. In comes the cross, blocked again by Behrami, and out for an Albanian throw in front of baying Albanian supporters who are just a couple of yards away behind the advertising barrier. They are imploring their team to get forward at least once more, but this time the move breaks down, and there was a pretty cynical foul there in midfield, and it's going to be a yellow card for Mavrai. So they're picking up a few yellow cards now in the latter stages, Albania. They're bound to be tiring with just the 10 men. They've given it absolutely everything, as you would expect from a nation with such a proud way of thinking. And Bolo was completely taken out of it there, and easiest free kick of the day.
Well, Mbolo's took a couple, unfortunately, since he's come on. I feel the Albanian players realise how quick he is and how much talent he's got, and they're kind of stopping him in his tracks early doors. But I think the Albanian fans, they're going to be so proud of this performance. You know, they might be beaten and not get any points from it, but for the effort and what they've shown in desire, I think they'll be very pleased.
Rodriguez coming forward for Switzerland. We're into the final few seconds. About 50 seconds remaining in stoppage time. The Swiss again are trying to keep the ball deep inside Albanian territory, just a couple of yards away from the touchline over on the far side. The throw-in has gone to Albania. One or two of the Albanian supporters hiding behind their scarves. They can scarcely bear to watch, because defeat does seem to be imminent for Albania, despite giving this absolutely everything in the locker. The ball is with the Albanians. Mavrai, the big man at the heart of the defence, has got a touch, but they're being penned right back inside their own half before the foul is committed by Rodriguez for Switzerland. And Albania have got to get the ball forward now, because we're into the final 10 seconds. Benyani hits it long. Will it be flicked on? It will, but Giroux's there. Not the best of touches by the Swiss defender, but he gets away with it. And there's the full-time whistle. And the Swiss have beaten Albania by 1-0. It was far from convincing. The goal came very early on, after 5 minutes. It was a soft one scored by Cher. Albania had to play around about 55 minutes with just 10 players after their captain Lorik Sana was correctly sent off in the first half. But the man hanging his head right at the end of the game is actually the man who made the mistake right at the start of the game. The Albanian goalkeeper, Erit Berisha. They gave a very, very good account of themselves, Albania. They'll take some small consolation from that. But the 3 points are in the bank, in the Swiss bank. 3 points are definitely in the Swiss bank. A goal, I think Erit Berisha was outstanding for the most part, but he made one critical error, and that was in the 7th minute, and it's led to the match-winning goal. I do feel for him, but like you said, I think the Albanians have got a lot of pride from that game. They've got nothing to be ashamed of. It's a 1-0 loss, but they can take a lot of positives for that going into the next game. I think with Switzerland, had a lot of possession, but didn't make it pay, and didn't move the ball around quickly enough. I think they didn't adapt well enough to playing against 10 men, and they'll be relieved they've got that game out of the way and got the 3 points in the bag. Yes, victory for Xhaka Junior over Xhaka Senior, as Switzerland take the spoils in this match in Lens to join France at the top of the very early Group A table. Full time, Albania 0, Switzerland 1.